What's good, folks? It's Nightmare Frame here with a no BS, easy Yareli build guide that offers you insane shields, comfortable survivability, invulnerability spam, buffing your secondary weapon with 200% crit chance, all while that weapon never has to reload. Yareli's passive offers 200% crit chance only to your secondary after you move for at least 1.5 seconds, and you retain this buff for a second if you stop moving. This buff is easily accessible by any sort of movement, so you can strafe, bullet jump, whatever, as long as it's a movement you input. And this crit chance buff is an additive increase to your modded crit chance, meaning additive to orange Archon Shards and Pistol Gambit. Quickly over to the build and how it functions. This build is all about pure comfort. First, let's enjoy the redeeming qualities. Ah yes, the bunda. Archon Shards, 2 casting speed and 3 energy shards. Looking at the stats, 2,307 shields and 647 health, energy at 540. Decent duration, juicy range, and solid strength. Pillage as the Helminth that cleanses status effects, replenishes my shields, while also defense shredding enemies. Now over to her best in-slot secondary weapon, the Occucore. This weapon is only usable with its Augment Sentient Surge. If you do not have it, never use this weapon, because it gives the Occucore increased crit chance, status chance with each tendril it produces, while also refilling a portion of its magazine as it kills enemies, and this is why you never have to reload. Now, if you're beginning to think this is an Occucore showcase video, then you're absolutely right. Cascadian Flare for the base damage when targets are affected by heat. Easily done with Prime Heated Charge, paired with Viral to debuff the enemies and increase your damage. And the rest of the mods are straightforward. And for the faction mod, swap it out with whatever faction you're facing, because unfortunately we're not using Roar. Now, to aid your secondary slightly, because you're not going to use your primary anyway, so might as well have it do something in the background. The Aphentis. It has a unique trait that grants you 50% reload speed, 20% fire rate, 100% ammo reserves, and minus 50% recoil when you're within the dome. It lasts for 40 seconds when you exit the dome, and infinite as you're within it. This is pretty much all you need for the build. Fire rate and some reload speed for utility, and don't forget Amalgam Serration for the 25% increase sprint speed. Now for the best melee for additional movement and parkour, while also having something for the Acolyte. 2 important evolutions, Drifting Grace for the sprint speed and slide, and Evolved Ascension for the parkour velocity. And the build is as follows. Exposure, so you can get corrosive elemental damage, good for Acolytes, as the Occucore isn't good against Acolytes, because Acolytes are inherently weak to projectile guns and heavier burst weaponry and abilities, rather than beam weapons, as DE because that's actually a thing. Bunch of attack speed and also Dispatch Overdrive for even more movement speed after a heavy attack. And now for the Yareli build. Augmented for the strength, velocity for the secondary, fire rate. Loyal Marilina, so you don't have to ride on the most useless thing in the entire game. You still retain the 2-second iframe after casting this ability. If you do decide to go for negative duration, this reduces the internal cooldown for Marilina's Sea Snare ability cast. But it's not worth it, because it's just better if you spam the first ability yourself, as that's faster and more reliable. I have a bunch of shields as my main source of defenses. If you don't have Prime Vigor, you can replace it with Boreal's Hatred. You lose health and some shields, although you gain 15% efficiency. Duration is primarily here for Sea Snares, otherwise you can go for base duration or even 73% if you remove Prime Continuity and use anything else in that slot. And Corrosive Projection would be a better aura for this build as it aids your damage even more and helps Pillage strip faster, but didn't want to waste any more Forma. Archon Stretch gives me some energy regen, and that's easily achieved thanks to my companion, the Panzer. It spreads viral, helps you prevent skill issue with Martyr Symbiosis, Tenacious Bond for the crit damage on your weapons, if your companion has over 50% crit chance, easily boosted on the Claws, and Shocking Claws converts all elemental damage to electric to trigger Archon Stretch, as you can see right here. Now for the gameplay loop. When you initially start the onslaught, throw down your Aphentis with the alternate fire, so you drop down this dome. Enter the dome, throw your first ability to debuff the enemies, use Pillage, so you deal a bit more damage, shoot the enemies, and then that's it, you're done. Yeah, you just move around and shoot enemies with your secondary. That easy. If you get procced by Sass Effect, use Pillage. If you lose your shields, use Pillage. If you want to strip enemy armor, you get it, use Pillage. That's the Yareli build. Now, let's go over everything wrong with Yareli. Our first ability has random targeting, weird trajectory, and is an inferior version of Caliban's Sentient Wrath, which has more versatility and ease of use, requiring less spam, and offers a lot more with its debuffs. Her second ability limits your versatile movement that you have in Warframe. You cannot use your primary, and if you do swap to your primary, you're left unarmed. 10 out of 10. And the cherry on top, you aren't able to use any of your Helminth abilities while riding Merlina. Amazing. I'm showcasing Merlina in a fairly open space. Now just imagine this in maps like Europa, Eris, the Kuva tileset, and those maps have already been established to be very narrow, cluttered, and annoying to navigate through. And now just add Merlina to that. Also not to mention the underground section of 1999. On top of that, you're also a bigger hitbox that's slower compared to any other frame that can use other movement tech. Our third ability, it exists, just doesn't scale with range. The augment still requires you to get close to enemies. The ability is clunky, staggers enemies away from you so they take less damage from the ability, and the ability doesn't do any damage. And finally, her best ability, but also hella wonky. Sometimes it just doesn't work. It can ignore the enemy in front of you and sunk off people on the other side of the world. And it's just an inferior version of Zephyr's fourth, which can pull in enemies towards the ability, increase your damage done to enemies as it adapts your weapon's physical and elemental attributes, applies status effects, crit multipliers. Oh yeah, and Zephyr's passive grants all weapons 150% crit chance while midair. Even though Yareli is kawaii, she is still a complete waste of time. If you like her, play her. All good, no one is stopping you. Play what you like and enjoy the game how you like it. But don't tell people she's amazing and say you think she's bad because you're playing her wrong. And also, do not use level cap as assurance for a frame's validity. Doing any level cap is not a challenge. The game is very easy and any frame can do level cap. Fun is subjective. We need to live in a world where logic and facts rule over fallacies and feelings. Hate what I say, but it is the truth. DE had an amazing opportunity to rework this Warframe with the Prime release, but they chose not to, and they're well aware of the issues she has. That's been it from me. Hope you enjoyed and learned something from this video. If you did, please feel free to leave a like, share, and subscribe for more Warframe content, streams, and so much more. Do refer to the description. Thanks for watching, and as always, a peace. Bye-bye now.